Hey there guys, and welcome back to another Best Team. Admittedly, I'm putting together this one before the original one goes live, so I'm really just hoping that you guys appreciated that one. I mean, who was I to make a best team for a game that doesn't even really have all that many necessary battles? Well, I'll tell you who I was. Mystic Umbreon, dude. I'm right back at it here with the best team for Typhlosion in this game, with half the team returning from the original best team, as is often the case. I'm not sure if that'll be how things go for Decidueye, but for this team right here, there were 3 Pokemon I felt were so good on the original best team that they easily had another spot on this one. I don't want to bog down this one with more explanation, so let's hop into this first alternate starter best team. So, we'll kick off the best team today with our starter, the one I consider to be the weakest of the 3, but still my favorite, Typhlosion. The new Typhlosion of Hisui sees the Ghost type brought into the equation, making for a pretty cool looking new form. Its stats see a boost to the special attack with a little drop to HP and speed. However, I will say that 119 special attack and 95 speed are both pretty damn good in tandem anyway. The other Ghost Fire type, Chandelure, is a pretty popular Pokemon for a multitude of reasons. The biggest being how well it blends its 2 typings together. I'd go as far as to say that Typhlosion blends them even better, with an awesome design to boot. Let's go peep the moveset on this thing, which surely must be fantastic, right? So, another new thing for the Best Team series here, as I'm only really suggesting you use 2 moves on your Typhlosion as definite needs. You should run Infernal Parade, which is a ghost type move with the chance to burn. And if you do happen to cause a burn, well, this cool new move doubles in power. Flamethrower can help cause a burn too, of course, and it's also the strongest special attacking fire type move that Typho has. Here's the issue. Typhlosion is very much a special attacker by a large margin, and unfortunately the coverage moves it has are all physical. You can settle for Thunder Punch, or Drain Punch, or Bulldoze. Any of those moves will help wrap up the moveset, but none of them are going to hit very hard due to the large discrepancy in the 2 attack stats. You're free to do as you please for the final 2 moves on this set, but if you only use Infernal Parade and Flamethrower, you'll be fine. So, next up, we'll run through the 3 returning members from the original best team before getting to the final 2 new ones. We start with Gardevoir, who is pretty much the best Pokemon to use in a playthrough of this game, period, and will undoubtedly be popping back up on the Decidueye team. As I suggested prior, while you wait for Ralts, it's not a bad play to rock out with an Abra or Kadabra on your team. It'll really just hold that spot in the Obsidian Fieldlands, but by the time you're in the Crimson Mirelands, it's Ralt City. You'll get to Guardy after not too long, and then you'll have 125 base special attack and 115 base special defense, alongside a just next level elevated move pool that Legends Arceus got so right for this lady. Speaking of, let's get into that move pool. The moves Gardevoir is using are Psychic, Moonblast, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam. So there's Thunderbolt, that all-important move that plays a part in making Gardevoir more attractive than Alakazam as a team member. Psychic and Moonblast, of course, are a duo of great stab moves, and honestly could be all you ever use with Guardy, and you'd be in great shape.
Ice Beam
is a last bit of coverage that is amazing to see in this pool, as I always felt a Ice type move was something Gardevoir was missing. There is so much in the move pool though for this lady. We're talking Energy Ball, Mystical Fire, and Shadow Ball. If you want to set up Calm Mind, you're free to do that as well. There's really a never-ending pool of dominating moves here, and it's really pushed Guardy past Alakazam in this game. The quality of Guardy's power definitely overcame the quantity of points in Alakazam's special attack. Roserade is coming up next on the team, bringing a 3rd special attacking option to our very powerful Typhlosion team. Roserade's strength is unmatched among most grass types you can reasonably find and use in this game, but it is still only available in the Crimson Mirelands, leaving the beginning portion of the game without a grass type. I still maintain calling upon Shinx and Luxio to help you out prior to adding Ralts and Budew to your team, as it can really help you overcome the Obsidian Fieldlands. So when you eventually get Budew, it'll need to love you a bit and be leveled up into Roselia. Or you can just catch Roselia if you're lucky. And then, for a Roserade, you'll have to get a Shiny Stone. You'll have to spend some time nabbing MP and trading for one probably. but maybe you'll find one laying around somewhere after you get Ursaluna, or perhaps in a time-space distortion. It's not too hard to end up with Roserade, that's for sure. It should make total sense why I chose to bring it back for this team. We've got Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, and Shadow Ball comprising the move pool on Roserade. They're all very easy moves to get on Roserade using the move tutoring. Sludge Bomb and Energy Ball are a duo of very nice stab moves, and Petal Dance can even be learned at level 52, so a pretty massive grass type move in the late game can make an appearance. Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball provide some good coverage too. And did I mention this fantastic fact? All 4 of these moves can be put on your Badoo by tutoring. So ending up with it instead of just getting Roselia isn't the most miserable thing by any means. So we've got all this special power. I guess with the next Pokemon, we should get physical, right? So let's bring in the final returning team member, the great and powerful Rhyperior. Its massive amount of coverage, combined with the crazy defense it has, it just made it the obvious choice to bring back for this team, even over Goodra. Rhyperior rocks out with base 140 attack and 130 defense, and while it isn't speedy, it doesn't really have to be. Rhyhorn is available in the Crimson Mirelands like most of the team, so early enough into your adventure. If you want to use a rock type during the Obsidian Fieldlands portion of the game, there are a lot of Geodude rolling around that I could definitely suggest using until you've got Rhyhorn. You'll have to get a Protector one way or another to get Rhyperior, and of course level 42 is when Rhyhorn evolves. But thankfully, it's such a good Pokemon in the grand scheme of things that waiting for Rhyperior to eventually come isn't that much of a detriment. High Horsepower, Stone Edge, Thunder Punch, and Shadow Claw are Rhyperior's moves once again, kinda just cementing that this is indeed a fantastic set. Just take a look at this pool up on screen. Everything from the elemental punches in Fangs to Iron Head, and even Megahorn and Outrage. There is really no wrong way to put Rhyperior together, as long as you're including Stone Edge and High Horsepower so you can get the most out of its stab. The other 2 moves are your choice, people. Perhaps with the next 2 Pokemon coming up, you'll want to change things around on your end. So we've got Empoleon up next. It takes the place of Infernape, you could say, as we've lost Samurott and gained Typhlosion. Or we may as well flip things around here too. It's also why we don't have Goodra today, as I was able to mostly fill in any holes left behind it with Empoleon. It's easier to get and fits the team just as well with this build. But don't be surprised to see Goodra return for the Decidueye lineup. Anyway, you've got to wait for the Cobalt Coastlands to find a Piplup. It hangs out around the Spring Path, so Basque Legion is a must to get it. But once there, you'll find it pretty easily and be able to add it to the team. If you're lucky, you might just find Prinplup bouncing around as well. I'm not really advocating for the usage of the Empoleon Alpha in that area since it's such a high level. But if you're into that sort of thing, knock yourself out. Empoleon's 111 special attack and 101 special defense make it another special attacking Mon on this team, but it's really no problem. I think Rhyperior and the final Pokemon on our team, we sort of have enough physical attackers. Enough of that though, let's get into the moves. The moves Empoleon has are Flash Cannon, Hydro Pump, Water Pulse, and Ice Beam. Flash Cannon is a great stab on Empoleon, and in many ways, the only Steel type move worth using on it. I mean, who wants to actively use Steel Beam anyway? Then Hydro Pump and Water Pulse come together as 2 water options, one with power and the one with accuracy. Then Ice Beam is nice coverage to have on Empoleon. And it's also like the only other move worth using in its move pool. Empoleon is a nice fit-in for Goodra and brings potentially better water coverage than Samurott. I was happy to have it on the team. We'll wrap up the team with one last new member, the incomparable Crobat. As you can probably guess, Crobat means there is no fighting rep for this team. But that's alright. The fighting typing, while dominant, can be covered by other types in certain battles just as well. As for Crobat, Zubat is available in the Obsidian Fieldlands in random areas whether it's dark or not. And when it hits level 22, it evolves. And then to go from Golbat to Crobat, you just gotta show it love. Crobat is a very speedy boy with some decent enough attack stats that it sort of just fit in just fine with the rest of the team. I know you may be questioning why I chose to bring it on when we already had some poison type representation with Roserade, and it was mostly just because of the flying typing. And it's really good defensively. I feel like it's important to just get into the moves here. starting with Cross Poison, and then Air Slash, Leech Life, and finally Dark Pulse. Now, this is a mixed attacking set, and while Crobat isn't the best Pokemon you can march out as a mixed attacker, I think this actually works pretty well. Cross Poison and Leech Life are two very powerful physical moves that can handle Fairy-type and Psychic-type Pokemon. The latter being great considering Crobat's poison typing. Then with Air Slash and Dark Pulse, well, one is stab and one is coverage related. They're both special moves, though with Air Slash being a bit stronger than Aerial Ace, I think is a decent trade-off. It sucks they got rid of flinching, but what are you gonna do? Dark Pulse is nice since we don't have Samurot's Dark typing on this team, and it can handle both Ghosts and Psychics if need be. So that's the team, and once again, we have to go over what we can cover with this squad. Again, I'll start by going through the nobles. The first one you have to deal with is Cleaver. And with Cleaver, it's not as easy as when you have Duat. It isn't as afraid of Quilava and can easily fight back against it. So this could be a battle where you rely less on actually battling with Pokemon and more so on your own ability to throw bombs. Then we move on to Lilligant, and of course with Crobat or Quilava, you'll handle this team with the utmost ease. When it comes to Arcanine, Empoleon or Rhyhorn will be an easy answer to that Fire-Rock type. Then Electrode, well, Typhlosion will make quick work of this demented Apricorn. Finally, in your battle with Avalugg, it's going to be done in by Typhlosion as well, really, with Rhyperior and Roserade providing backup much like they did with Infernape in the original best team. Let's not forget about the few trainer battles too. The opposite gender character from yourself, Volo, and Mai are all able to be put to bed by Cyndaquil and Zubat if you've got it on your team soon enough. The battle with Leon before dealing with Cleaver involves having to beat Gumi, which is still a little bit annoying no matter what you're bringing in to face him, but it'll be fine. You've got battles scattered across Hisui with the Misfortune Sisters, and for the first one, you'll be able to pull out your Kirlia to put down Coin's Toxicroak. Not long later, you'll need to beat the three of them in succession, and Gardevoir can pretty much handle all these battles herself. Pull out Psychic, Mystical Fire, and Ice Beam, and it's all but over. Their Pokemon wouldn't be able to handle the power. It'll pretty much just be the same Pokemon, so you'll know that Guardy can always handle these bandits. But there is support from the Crobat and Typhlosion too. Ingo is a fun one, and it's another battle Guardy can pretty much handle on her own. Ice and Psychic is all you'll really need to book your ride on the Subway of Victory. You'll have some run-ins with Adaman and Irida with their Ice Grass evolutions, which Typhlosion has wrapped up with its OG stab. Once again, Gardevoir is proving it's such a powerful and easy to count on Pokemon for this game's best teams. We move on now to the more challenging battles, starting with Benny. His team is Mismagius, Sneasler, Gardevoir, and Gallade. A combined effort by Gardevoir and Crobat should be able to handle this Wally ancestor, which then leads us right into Comodo. You're able to easily take on everything with the exception of Snorlax, unless you do a little moveset maneuvering, like running Rock Smash on Rhyperior. No matter what though, you'll have the kind moves necessary to knock out Snorlax, even if they're not for super effective damage. That'll leave Typhlosion to deal with the Psychic-type Braviary. After you get through that battle, you deal with Palkia and Dialga, and getting through them is definitely not as difficult as it might sound. Rhyperior and Gardevoir are all you'll really need for ground and fairy types. Then we move on to the difficult and at times annoying Volo fight. Once again, it's just a near identical version of Cynthia's championship team, with the exception of Arcanine, which takes the place of Milotic, who isn't in the game. You'll want to turn to a trifecta of Gardevoir, Typhlosion, and Rhyperior for this one. Togekiss gets taken out with an Ice-type move, Lucario can get bopped by Typhlosion's fire moves, and Arcanine is easy to overcome by Rhyperior, much like earlier in the game. Then for Roserade and Spiritomb, you can use Guardy on her own, and for Garchomp too, of course. Then, once you overcome Volo, you must defeat Giratina twice, and it is difficult. It might look easy enough to just use Guardy on this thing, but it'll hit you hard, and it'll take you out unless you fully trained up values-wise. That's it for the battles though, after you overcome Volo and Giratina. Once again, I'm saying Gardevoir is the MVP of the team, with Typhlosion and Rhyperior taking on expanded roles with the team's composition. It's all around definitely not as good as the original best team, but still an absolute powerhouse, led by everyone's favorite waifu, Gardevoir. Well, that's it for another best team. I can see it now, you guys are really wanting to suggest something other than Crobat for this team, like Staraptor or something. Well, you know, maybe Staraptor is overrated a bit, and I felt Crobat could do a good enough job on its own. I bet you guys didn't think about that. Well, I certainly did. Though really, did you guys notice that Guardy, Typhlosion, and Rhyperior manage mostly everything on their own? I didn't even really need to talk about the other 3 Pokemon. This game is less about the sort of teams you put together and trot out, and more about the individual Pokemon for sure. That said, I do look forward to seeing the type of synergy I can create when putting together a team for Decidueye. For now though, that'll do it for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next best team. Hey guys, thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. It's exciting times for the Pokemon franchise, and I look forward to the coming months where it just keeps getting better. If you guys are wanting some more bite-sized Mystic Umbreon content, please check out my TikTok, where I upload daily, as well as the Mystic Umbreon Shorts channel. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, it really helps us out. I think it's time to wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I'll see you next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.